Well, good morning. It's August. And yes, we're back in Charlotte. Sorry to disappoint you all. I didn't get to do as many videos in North Carolina, in New Hampshire as I wanted to. But I was studying for an exam, a work exam. Oh God, we're in traffic. I should have stopped recording now and get back to you when we're not in traffic anymore. Oh, there's water up here. Awesome. Why is there water? Anyway, this is a real kill on traffic. Yeah, I was studying for an exam I wanted to take for work, and you know, lots of family stuff, friend activities. It just got out of hand. I got to write a lot, but as far as writing for the effort of making a video and editing, uploading a video, I didn't get around to it. I mean, I did 2 of them, I think. I do have a video coming soon, though, from Newfoundland, so I'll share that soon. It's like 2 hours of content, so I'm gonna get it down to like 3.5 minutes. I am taking this R18 into the BMW dealer for the 6,000 mile valve check. So, you know, I did all the service myself, but I don't have a buddy to hold the bike for me while I find TDC for the valve check. I have all the specifications of the valve check. I have all the manual and the how-to and all the tooling. I got everything. I got it all. But what I don't have is a lift or any kind of support structure or a friend to kind of, you know, help me get the valve check done without, you know, any issues or risk of dropping the bike. And I don't really want to. The valve check is going to be like $150, and the valve covers are $200 a piece. So dropping the bike onto the valve covers would cost more than the job. So I did everything else myself. I did final drive fluid, oil, air filter, oil filter. Just need to have the valve checked done. I think there might be a recall on this thing too, I heard. So I'll have them to do that too while I'm in there. This R18 is currently listed on Cycle Trader. It's kind of... Now, here's the thing. Will it sell? Probably not anytime soon. It's not priced to sell. It's priced for what I think is fair. Now, accessories don't add any value. We all know that. But, you know, we got brand new Clearwater Dixies or DCs on here. And a super tall windscreen, and the quad lock wireless charging mount, and the backrest, and the BMW interior bags. And so what you have here really is, you know, $3,000 in accessories on this bike, and only 6,000 miles, and, you know, break-in and 6,000 mile service being done. So, you know, if someone wants to buy a TransContinental, even at the deeply discounted prices that some dealers are offering, which is around $22,000, they're also going to get it today at, you know, 0% interest, and but they're gonna have to take it home and put $3,000 into it, and then even depreciated, the break-in service, 6,000 mile service, are going to be like $1,000. So I listed it for $18,500, and I thought that's a fair price. R18 demand is pretty low. What I did was I called one dealer, just one dealer. I asked them what they would give me for it, and that'd be no trade-in, just selling it to them. They said they'd give me $11,000 for it. $11,000. This bike was $21,000 to me. I paid $21,000 for it a year ago. So it cost me, and I do the math, 6,000 miles, accessories, maintenance, depreciation. Cost me like $13,000 on this for a year. I'm not going to do that. So, and no, I'm not going to say, you know, someone says, I'll meet you in the middle, I'll give you 14. No, I'm not doing that. But if you're interested in buying this bike, the deal is, I always do the same thing. You know, I guarantee that you're going to get a bike that's ready to ride. It is under warranty for 2 more years, but it's ready to ride. It needs nothing, no maintenance issues. It's all getting done right now. I'm not riding it again for a while, so I'm going to put it in the garage. I'm going to sit at 6,000 miles and have it just kind of hang out there. And I always do this, but if someone buys a bike from me, I will drive it anywhere in the United States, except for Alaska and Hawaii. But I'll drive it anywhere. And all the buyer has to do is buy me a return airline ticket. And I will drive this bike to Seattle. Actually, I'd love to. I would love an excuse to ride across country and not have to then drive it back. So, if you're watching this and you want my R18 TransContinental for $18,500, it's yours. The buyer could also, if they wanted to, I've heard cases where this works. The buyer, if they wanted to, could assume the payments through BMW, and then cut me the difference in cash. And then, you know, if you don't have $18,500 laying around, you can take over the financing with BMW, and I'll take a couple of grand in cash on top of that, and then it's yours. Why am I selling it? I mean, let's take a step back. I haven't sold it yet. I don't have any interested buyers. I've had a few tire kickers, but no one's interested in buying it yet. Everyone's offered $15,000 for it, which I'm not selling it for $15,000. And the reason I'm selling it is because I have goals that don't align with R18 ownership right now. I'll tell you, if the situation was different, I'll give you a few factors. If I was still in New Hampshire, if I had a garage, if I didn't want to buy a new GS next year, and if it was paid off, which I could pay it off, but I don't want to, then I could keep it indefinitely. Oh yeah, because in New Hampshire, registration and insurance is much cheaper. So I'm paying like $500 a year to insure this bike right now. Well, maybe it's $600 a year to insure this bike. In addition to, I'm about to have to register it in North Carolina, which will cost me an extra $400 roughly. And I'm about to spend, you know, $150 or $200 on the valve check. And I'm continuing to pay, you know, $400 a month in payments on a bike that after the BMW rally, it's beautiful. It's fun. The emission is beautiful. It's a great looking bike. I love looking at it. I love looking at it. Staring at it in my garage, staring at it on street corners, staring at it at rallies, staring at it at BMW events. I love looking at this bike, and it's just the most beautiful BMW I've ever seen, I've ever ridden. It's personal preference, but I love how this bike looks. It is not sporty. It's not fast. It's about 400 pounds heavier than my GS, and it's less comfortable than the GS. You know, if you told me I'm riding 1,000 miles, I'd rather do it on the GS. I won't feel the warmth of riding this gorgeous chrome beauty, German beauty, but I'll be a lot more comfortable and be able to pass people with ease, and just, you know, have a working TFT system. And again, New Hampshire, garage paid off, I keep it for a while longer, 5-10 years. But at this very moment, I know that next year or the year after, I'm going to want to buy a GS. I could really use scrolling away the $400 a month I'm paying towards the thing and the $1,000 in registration and insurance to my savings account and save up to buy the GS in a year or two, versus continuing to own this thing and, drive it twice a week to work, drive it once a month on a trip. I'm still going to put miles on it. I put 6,000 miles on it in the first year. But, which may, obviously that's a lot of miles for a cruiser. For most people. The average American motorcycle owner rides like 3,000 miles a year. I doubled that. So it's a great bike. I love the bike. It just doesn't make sense for me right now. Now, I'm not priced to sell here. So if I don't get any more bites, I'm going to keep renewing my for sale ad, and I'm not going to worry about it. The bike's going to sit unregistered and lowly insured, not uninsured, but minimally insured, in my garage in North Carolina. I'm going to start it once a month. I'm going to keep it on the battery tender. I'm going to keep it washed, and maybe in a year I register it, insure it, and take it back out or something. It'll almost be paid off by then. I'm on like a 4-year payoff term. So I'm not a motivated seller, because if anything, if I get super desperate, I can in a year sell it for 14 or 15, and then use that cash to buy a GS. So that's what's going on with the R18. I am riding to the dealer to get it 6,000 mile service done, and I'm putting it into the garage. So you're not going to see this bike for a while. It's going to be in the garage, the back of the garage, getting dusty. And because I can't ride it illegally without registering or insuring it. So that's the R18 update. I wish I had more to share with you. But here's what I'll say. I rode this thing a lot when I first moved here, and then I rode the MOA Rally. I got up to the MOA Rally, and I'm like, man, I don't want to ride that bike for a while. It's too hard to ride. It's too heavy. It's too slow. My butt hurts. My back hurts. It's not comfortable. My legs are too far apart. I feel like I've been riding a horse all day, and like a shitty workhorse, or a farm horse or something. And then I rode my GS in New Hampshire and Vermont for a month. And man, I love the GS. It's not just the fact that I take it off-road. It's that, that bike is just so awesome. Even though it's only the 1200. It's an awesome bike. I love the GS. And my love affair with the R18 really ends at, wow, this is a beautiful bike. That's when the love affair ends. And then I'm like, okay, well, that's a beautiful bike, but that's it. That may change, but that's where we are right now. Oh, last thing I'll mention, if you're thinking about buying this thing, this was a bagger that I converted. That's probably one of my problems with the dealership. When they offered me like 11 grand, they said, well, I can only give you bagger pricing for a trade-in. I can't give you TransContinental pricing, which would be an extra $1,000. And I said, yeah, but the seat, the winglets, the windscreen, the top case, and a few other things that I added for the engine crash bars, those are all TransContinental OEM parts, and it's converted and it works like a TransContinental one. They said, I don't care. It's not a TC. The VIN is a bagger. That's what I'm giving you pricing for. He said you could strip it and sell all that stuff. And here's the thing, I've actually had more people on Cycle Trader message me offering to buy all of my TransContinental parts for, I'm sure, bottom dollar. $1,000, $2,000. And then even then the dealer's only gonna be 11 for it. So I'm sticking on the 18.5 figure. I think the bike is worth 18.5. Oh, it's also been ceramic coated. You can't tell it, but it's been ceramic coated. It shines up so nicely. This is a wonderful motorcycle. I'll include the iPhone 11 I bought for the maps and navigation. And no delivery fee. Zero. Someone offered me 17.5 and I said, you know what? I take 17.5, but you're coming to Charlotte, North Carolina and you're buying it. I'm not driving it to you. That's part of my my value add. These 7 to 85 is to bring it to the buyer. And if they want to cut $1,000 off the price, that's my week of time to bring the bike to you. All right, well, that is that's the whole story. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'm almost at the dealership. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. And yeah, I know it's a boring interstate ride, but I want to give you an update because if I ride this home and you don't see it again, I wanted people to know, hey, what's going on with your R18? This is not goodbye. I'll do another video when I sell it, or in a year when I bring it out of the garage and decide to keep it. Maybe I'll start missing it after a month. I want to go for a ride. But I can tell you from this ride here, not really feeling the heartstrings getting pulled on. Well, picked the bike up, but and I'm right next to Carowinds, so I'm gonna get a roller coaster ride in and a free dinner. It's not a free dinner. I had the season pass, the dining and drink pass that we bought back in October. And so when I'm passing by Carowinds, every single time I pass by, it's a rule that I stop and ride a ride and get dinner. Hey, I wanted to wrap this video up. Just it's now like 7 p.m. I'm driving the bike home. I got to put gas in it and stuff and give it a little wash. But but the total valve check cost was like $600. I think it was like $585 or $590 or something. And I asked the guy, I picked it up, I said, how much more would it, I have a copy of the service manual for the 6,000 mile maintenance. And I said, how much would it cost to you guys do everything? I want to not feel bad about having you do the valve checks for $600. Like, is it double? Did I save a lot of money? He's like, no, it's only extra $250 to do bevel gears, air filter, and oil filter. Right, and oil, obviously. Which blew me away. So sub 1,000 for the 6,000 mile service. I probably spent $140 in consumables. And it's because the bike would have been up on the lift for that only 1 extra hour. Because it's already up there for the valve check. And so draining the oil and other stuff isn't a lot of extra time. You're basically paying for an hour of extra labor and consumables. And I said, what's the valve check labor, like, bench time? He's like, oh, it's only an hour, maybe an hour and a half. And I'm like, well, why is it? And he's like, oh, I get that question a lot. And I forgot about this. So my GS is 30,000 miles. I've done 3 valve checks on it, always in spec. I've never once replaced the gaskets on the cylinder heads. They're expensive. They're like $140 for the gaskets. I totally forgot that if you have a dealer or a person worth their salt do your valve check on a Boxer BMW, service manual indicates that you have to also replace the gaskets. And the gaskets were $360 for 2 gaskets. Not even $380. It was nearly $400 for 2 gaskets for the BMW R18. So again, I think the lift, the BMW part that allows you to lift this thing up on a standard lift, and so I have access to the oil filter, is like $300. So if you're going to own an R18 for a long time, and you don't think you need to replace the gaskets every time, I certainly don't. then spend your money on a Harbor Freight lift and the BMW part that allows you to lift this thing up, and do your own valve checks, because wow, that is some serious cash for 2 pieces of rubber. So I am $600 poorer. I also, if you're out there going to buy this thing, I also spent an extra $200 for a used bike inspection. So the person that gets this bike next will have a piece of paper from a dealer. Basically, a pre-purchase inspection was done today. They also did a couple of recalls or service bulletins they checked. So, you know, $900. And I was talking to Heather about this morning. I'm sorry, real quick video. I was talking to Heather this morning about this. Like, when people message me on Cycle Trader with lowball bullshit offers, like, oh, I'll give you $11,500. All I can think of is, why did I spend all day at a dealership and $900 of my money, in addition to doing the 6,000 mile service, you know, for two days in a row? So why did I spend $1,300 and, you know, 4 or 6 hours of my time for you guys to come and say, oh, it's only worth 14 or 13? Like, it hurts my, it's not, I'm not offended, it hurts my feelings. It always hurts my feelings, because I take these bikes and I like, before I sell a bike, I put brand new tires on it, new brake pads. If it, you know, if it's 10,000 miles away from needing brake pads, I'll do brake pads. And I'll also do rotors because you want to match them up. I do all this stuff. I'll spend $2 or $3 grand making a bike in perfect condition for the next person, only to have folks email me and say, well, it's only worth this much money. Like, I guess the money I just spent on the 6,000 mile service is just, you know, peed away in the rain, in the wind. So yeah, it just always hurts my feelings, because I spent all day and, you know, $1,250 or so on this bike for someone to email me in a couple days and say, yeah, it's listed for 18, but I'll give you 12. Like, well, is that with or without the $1,250 I just spent on the maintenance? Oh no, they don't really care with the maintenance. They don't actually care you to the maintenance. They just want to give you 12 and thought they won the day. It makes me sad. It really hurts my feelings, because I put a lot of respect and love into these bikes, and then I feel like they're worth a certain amount and just have low ballers. It makes me feel sad. Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go home and wash this, hand wash it, and I'm gonna fill it with gas and fuel stabilizer, put it on a battery tender for some asshole to offer me 10 grand.